here are from many different countries. You're going interplanetary, but you're not going international. When are you going to hire people from other countries than the US?
Yeah, so I think people are a bit confused about this. Unfortunately, this is not up to us.
How overbroad are the U.S. government's prohibitions? Even a company that designs space clothing in a Brooklyn studio must obey them and carefully track the nationality of any visitors. So SpaceX, which aims to do business launching satellites for clients at the U.S. Air Force, must obey these rules as well. And that means it can only have permanent U.S. residents in its workforce. The basics of these regulations is pretty simple. Information about military technology is to be limited to citizens and U.S.-based companies. The law actually uses the term U.S. person to include full-blown citizens and green card holders. When sensitive information is being bandied about, the government wants to keep companies inside the U.S., where they can be better vetted. It seems like a prudent measure to ensure the United States doesn't hire, say, a North Korea firm that may be interested in an advanced warplane design. The U.S. State Department can grant an exception to ITAR rules, but violations bring hefty fines and can harm companies trying to win future government contracts. SpaceX is off to a great start conceptually, and its American technicians are certainly the best of the best. But Musk knows there are other great scientists out there. Musk, a South African who came to the United States by way of Canada, is a backer of increased immigration to the U.S. But the U.S. government, which already makes it difficult for foreign workers to arrive, considers space technology a national security issue and generally prohibits foreigners from working on it under ITAR rules. The ITAR regulations are something of a sore point in the global space community, which tries to emphasize its distance, literal and figurative, from political concerns. If it were up to Elon Musk, the SpaceX team would have far more foreign scientists working with their American counterparts to send the first permanent colonist to Mars. Unfortunately, it's not up to him. Rocket science falls under International Traffic in Arms Regulations, known as ITAR, which prohibits companies that deal in military technology, which is rockets and anything going to space, from hiring foreign workers. As he already explained during his speech at the International Astronautical Congress in Guadalajara, Mexico. Now you might be wondering, how does space launch and missile rockets look alike? Well, intercontinental ballistic missiles and orbital rockets have a lot in common. They rise from the ground, drop empty fuel tanks called boosters, and release their payloads into space. Musk launches satellites in this way. It's also the same way you launch a nuclear warhead across a planet. To be sure, the science behind these launches are different, and they are by no means identical for engineers. So in other words, it takes a lot of modding to launch a warhead from a Falcon 9. But the rocket stages, engines, and even guidance can inform a ballistics weapon program. ITAR regulates possible dual-use technology like rocket launches. It makes working at space launch companies off-limits to non-US citizens. Of course, there is plenty of pushback against ITAR for obvious reasons, as it hampers cooperation in space. Though some military programs, like the F-35 warplane, are designed to have international partners, as the US is selling its planes to many of its allies. Yet the work is restricted by ITAR. Airplanes landing on foreign airfields can't do some maintenance work if there are no secure facilities. Defense contractors that share space with civilian programs must have separate areas where foreign collaborators can't go. Airplane hangars with certain equipment on display is off-limits to visiting military officials, but US journalists can come as they please. Well, with an escort. As with Tesla, SpaceX's pioneering work has made it a company that many young engineers around the world aspire to work for. But Musk is right. It's out of his hands. It's possible that as SpaceX continues to innovate on Earth with ideas like intercontinental shipping, the government will get wise to the annoying restrictions and find a way to loosen regulations. It's also worth noting that this problem does not apply to Tesla, because the electric car company isn't making rockets. Musk said that around 30% of Tesla's engineering team is foreign nationals, so it's pretty clear that he doesn't have a grudge with non-Americans. After all, he's a South African Canadian American, so any multicultural bigotry would be more hypocritical than hiring. That's all we have for you today. Thanks for watching. Till next time.